Coach Gass clearly didn't quit today, but it just seemed like, especially in that first half defensively, you didn't have a lot of answers. What were you seeing from your team pass rush-wise, maybe pass coverage-wise?
We didn't stop anything in the first half. We didn't stop the run or the pass. So you ain't winning a football game playing half of football. Yeah, I appreciate the guys' efforts in the second half, but I'm not particularly interested in moral victories, and you ain't gonna win a football game playing a half of complementary football. And we've struggled to put a full game together all year, which is my fault. So, but you ain't gonna beat a talented football team playing half of football.
I'm sure you have to be pleased with what you saw from Xavier, but for the most part, you couldn't really get that passing attack going. Why do you think you were able to struggle with that today?
I think Xavier was the most explosive player on the field.
Coach, obviously this offense is it's much different, without Will. I mean, what are your thoughts moving forward, and maybe an update on when you expect Will to be back?
I have no update, same thing. He's week to week, right? When he's able to play, he will play. I think the offense actually did a really nice job moving the football today when they stayed ahead of the chains. Really, in the first half, we stalled out the first drive down there in the red zone, had to kick a field goal, decided to go for it there on 4th and 6 inches right before the half, and obviously didn't execute well enough. Probably thought, hindsight, would like to see that ball handed off and just jam it up in there, and because we've been doing a pretty good job of creating enough movement there in short yardage situations at the point of attack. But that is the reality of read football. The quarterback's going to pull it sometimes when he thinks the read's there. That doesn't mean the defense has to let him go 70 yards in a 2-minute drill and score a touchdown. That was obviously a huge play in the game, though. I think it's 17-3, and obviously where the ball's right around the 30-yard line, which I know we missed a field goal last week, maybe even inside of that, but felt like that was you got to go for that. I mean, you got 6 inches to go to get a first down. You got to go for that. You have a chance to get a touchdown before the half, and then you got the ball coming out of the half. If you can score there and make it a 17-10 ball game and have the ball coming out at halftime, you have a great opportunity to take all the momentum. And obviously we didn't execute, and then again we gave up a 70-yard touchdown drive in a 2-minute drill, and now it's 24-3 at halftime. So obviously hindsight being what it is, I guess poor decision by the head coach. Should have lined up and kicked the field goal, but felt like with the way that first half had gone, you're down by 2 scores. You got a chance to convert right there, and if you can punch one in, all of a sudden, even though the first half was as lopsided as it was in terms of them dominating us, man, if you can go into halftime there 17-10 with the ball coming out, couldn't pass up that opportunity. Unfortunately, didn't work out.
What do you make the way Seth Davis and Jeff Dillon ran today?
I think we ran the ball pretty good against a front and a scheme that's, they got plenty of hats to stop the run. You're facing quarters, 9-man fit, as they say. I thought we did some really good things. I thought there's some really well-designed runs in there. I was pretty pleased with the offensive game plan, to be honest with you. Now you're going to have to be able to throw the ball better. I mean, you're going to have to find a way to create some plays. Xavier did a nice job, but the way the game plan was, you're going up in a lot of third and shorts to mediums, and you got to find a way to convert some third down and keep it going, keep drives going, and you got to put points on the board. But I think the offensive game plan was really well designed. You're out your starting quarterback and starting tailback. I think there were some really well designed plays in there, and then we did a really nice job of finding a way to get the ball to Xavier. He was the most explosive player out there today, and so we got to continue to find ways to get him as many touches as possible the rest of the year.
What do you think has been holding the guys back from playing a full game compared to having that just one good half?
I don't know. That's my job to figure out, though. And so, practice adjustments, all that hadn't seemed to quite make it click. One side of the ball might play a more complete game for 4 quarters, but the other side doesn't, or we don't as a team. But that's my job as head coach. So that's where the blame lies.
With the defense, where did you feel most of the disconnect was in the first half? Was it more secondary, or the fact that just pressure wasn't there compared to last weekend?
I need to watch the film, but I think you need to. I think you need to get yourself into a state a little bit more than how you show up to practice. And Obviously, we failed to get them there, but I think we lacked a little intensity coming out. And now, to be fair, though, I got to watch the film. Maybe they were playing really good, and maybe we were playing really good, and they just had a really good plan and outcoached us. But I didn't see a team who was flying around with their hair on fire, which is more disappointing than anything.
Last week, it seemed you guys were winning a lot on first down defensively. It seemed like Auburn really did a good job kind of getting in those second and fours and fives.
I think I understand. I think that's the same answer to what I just said, right? I mean,
But what's really the key component to winning on first down when you've got a ball control offense like that gets the ball east and west?
I got to go watch the film and see whether it was schematically call too passive. I got to see whether, we're in a pretty good call, we're blitzing right into the play, and then we just get blocked mano and mano, and no one can defeat a block. I'm gonna have to review the film before I can give you a more thorough answer. But I would say it's probably anything and everything, all of the above on that in that first half. We didn't look like a very attacking, aggressive defense, which is frustrating, because that's how you got to play. You got to be the more aggressive team.
Marcus, coach said he felt like the team maybe didn't have the intensity in that first half you needed defensively. I mean, what are your thoughts about that? On what adjustments did you guys maybe make in the second half?
Yeah, man, I feel like we could have came out with better intensity as a defense, and halftime we preached that so we can fight back better in the second half. And felt like we came with better intensity in the second half, but we have to sustain that through the first quarter too. So when you face good teams, you have to have that throughout the whole game, and we didn't have that the whole game.
Going off of that, there's been a couple of times this year where the second half has looked a lot better compared to the first half. Why do you feel like the defense hasn't been able to put, outside of Arkansas, really a four-quarter game together?
It's on us, man. We just have to take that accountability. Like playing good teams like Auburn, you have to come out, you have to start fast. You can't start slow with nobody in the SEC. And I feel like we have to do a better job of that moving forward.
How frustrating is it the fact that you guys feel like maybe made a jump forward with the defense after last week? You come out and score for 2 touchdowns right away in the first quarter?
It's frustrating, man. Especially with the defensive game we had last week. Basically a shutout. We wanted to have that same mentality and intensity this game, and I felt like we could have done a way better job of that. And I feel like that's why we fell short.
Where do you feel like the disconnects were on that side of the ball in the first half?
Just the mentality and intensity, you have to play with that mentality, man. Like Ruby said, lion mentality with every play. You can't take a play off. You have to play balls to the wall. And like I said, I felt like we fell short of that.
What do you attribute that to? I mean, this is a veteran defense. I mean, so you guys know what it's like to go on the road in the SEC. So how do you come out a little bit flat in a game like this?
We have to emphasize it a little more. We have to stay. We can't just say it, before the game or in spurts. We have to keep on playing. We have to keep on fighting. We have to keep on relaying that to the other players. Because it can't just be a few players or some of the captains or some of the other guys. We have to have the offense. We have to have it on defense, special teams, and also the sideline. We have to have that whole energy throughout the whole entire game. And if not, we're going to come out short like we did.
That second deep touchdown, I think you and DCAM were on that side of the field. What kind of went wrong on that play there?
We have to execute. We have to do a better job just executing the play.
Was Auburn doing anything in terms of taking shots down the field that maybe you didn't see a ton of on film and weren't as prepared for?
Can you say that one more time?
Was Auburn doing anything that you didn't see a ton of on film? They took a few more shots downfield than they had in previous games.
No, I feel like the coaches had us very prepared for this game, and it just came down to them making plays, and we did.
Coach Arnett, takes a lot of blame, for this loss. But what's the disconnect between the players feeling like that and then the coach feeling like that?
Yeah, I feel like it's on us as players to do our job and do what we coach to do. I have a lot of faith in Coach Arnett and Coach Brock and all our coaches that put us in the great position. It just comes down to us as players to be able to make the play.
Mike, obviously a much different game plan this week. I mean, you threw it around a good bit. How would you kind of assess the offensive performance today?
I mean, we just got to play better. I mean, like you said, it was a different game plan, kind of coming in, kind of sprinkling the ball around the field a little bit more than last week. And, that's what you got to do when you're playing SEC football. I mean, every defense is different. There's some games where you might need to put the ball in the air 50 times, and there's some games where you need to put the ball in the air 10 times. And so we felt like, our best chance of winning today was how the game plan we had coming into it. So.
Marcus and Coach Arnett both spoke about changes that need to be made in terms of intensity to start a game. And I mean, you talked about getting the pregame speech last week, but what do you feel like needs to be able to sort of amp things up early in games and make it more four-quarter games?
I mean, yeah, we're playing in the best conference in college football. So I mean, whenever you start off slow, I mean, it's kind of hard to fight your way back into it. And so we made some mistakes early, and we'll go back and we'll watch the film. We'll clean up everything else, and we'll be ready to go by next week. And so, like you said, I mean, we just gotta start faster. That's pretty much it.
You had a couple passes too that were just off. You had a couple touchdown passes, matter of fact, just off. I mean, can you build from that? I mean, how do you kind of see maybe just kind of getting back in the flow of things, and maybe next week being a little more proficient?
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes back into just timing with receivers. I mean, it's still eating me up how many times I threw the ball to J-Rob, and it's 1 yard out of bounds. And so I mean those are difference makers. And so like I said, I mean we'll come back, we'll clean it up, we'll make it an emphasis going into next week and just work on those timing throws, because I mean that can help us change the ball game right there. So
Seemed like you and Xavier had a pretty good connection. What were you seeing from him, and how much can that rapport help you, in the weeks coming forward?
yeah, I mean Xavier, he's a playmaker. I mean we got a bunch of playmakers on this team. And so like I said, my job is just to give them the ball. And so, I mean, as easy as that sounds, it's as easy as it really needs to be. I mean, we just didn't connect the way I wanted to connect today. So, like I said, I mean, it'll be an emphasis kind of moving forward. But I'm proud of Xavier, a young guy who has to play a little bit more mature this year. He's a young guy. He hasn't played a whole bunch of football, but I mean, he's a starting receiver, and I mean, I'm proud of the way he's came through for us. So.
Mike, Coach Arnett was complimenting the game planning too, and you kind of emphasized that. So what was it that kept the game planning from just producing the points? You got one touchdown, but you need more today.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of just about execution. I mean, you got to go out there and play. I mean, players play, and so, I mean, that starts with me. I mean, like we've kind of hit on a little bit earlier, but just different timing routes. There's, of course, I mean, you think back on there's different plays that you kind of want back, and so. I mean, now it's just about executing. I mean, we can talk a big talk, but at the end of the day, you just gotta go out there and play football. And so, like I said, we'll ramp it up, and we'll be ready to go by next week.
No slouching from the quarterback this week either. Noticed you kind of fighting ahead, taking on some contact, a little bit different from last week. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I mean, when I went back and watched the film from last week, there was just a lot of yards left out there. So, for me, I gotta realize how big I am. I mean, I might not look like, Cam Newton out there, but I mean, I'm a big guy, and so just, fighting for extra yards, and I mean, that's just the mentality that we have to have moving forward. I mean, every yard matters, and so I just didn't feel like sliding today, honestly.
Is your prep different at all this week now that the other team had a pretty good idea that you were going to start there from turn 3, whereas Arkansas was more up in the air?
I mean, yeah, my preparation is the same, kind of no matter if I'm the guy going out there first, or if I'm not going out there at all. I mean, that's just the way my mentality is. So I've always kind of prepared the same way. Like I said, we'll go back, we'll clean up some stuff, we'll look at the film, but like I said, we'll be ready to go by next week.
Do you feel like a lot of those, key missed 4th and downs, and even towards the end zone, do you feel like if you had those back, obviously it would have changed the game, but what do you think you could have maybe done better, or even as the offense would have done better to capitalize those?
Yeah, I think I mean, as a quarterback, you got to give your receivers a chance. All those, passes towards the end zone, it resulted in out of bounds. They were out of bounds, and so 99.9% of the balls thrown out of bounds are incompletions. So, I mean, as simple as just putting a yard inside, giving those receivers a better chance to, kind of get their feet in bounds is something that I need to, focus on, and I need to be better at. So that's why I'll be better at it.
And you said you need to, execute more, but Coach Arnett also said, he takes full blame for the loss tonight. Where's that kind of, balance that, everyone kind of needs to fully compete? And
I mean, yeah, I mean, I understand where Coach Arnett's coming from, but we're playing. I mean, the players are out there playing, and so, I mean, we take this loss as much as he takes it. I mean, I take it as maybe even more than how he takes it, just because I'm out there playing. I'm the one, executing the plays, and so we won't dwell on it. I mean, we're not going to hang our heads low. I mean, there's still some positive stuff out there that we can build upon, and we'll build on the positives and eliminate the negatives. So